I'm planning something.
Maybe just as a preventive measure,
I
turn
have a
your
good.
gain
I
down.
did. I turned it down. I have a really good one where I'm gonna be like, "You think
What? What?
using someone else's name in your little podcast isn't very funny, girls."
Ew.
Hey Josh, we really missed you. Be on my favorite podcast.
Sorry, that's just what I keep thinking.
Ew.
I have two water bottles in case I run out.
Wait.
Well, cut that right here, and then let's jump to the episode.
You're gonna edit it. Who are you
I know.
talking to?
I'm telling myself in the.
Oh, cool.
I got one water bottle on this side and one on this side.
Oh, you're gonna make me like have a panic.
I'm just saying, like, because Lauren was talking about this in her vlog too. Lauren Brodoff, shout out, I love you. She was talking in her
Hi,
vlog,
Lauren.
and she was all like saying how she was tweaking before doing her interviews on the like carpet. And I was like, yeah, see, everyone tweaks. You could not even care, and you'd still tweak.
Not even. Do you know what I mean?
You can't be serious.
I'm not even.
No.
I'm
See,
not.
now this is an example of someone who lies about tweaking. Okay, you can't let him in yet. Can't let him in yet.
I have
Can't
to.
let him
He's
in yet.
been waiting. You ask him how his day is, I'm gonna start laughing. I'm kidding. I don't mean it.
Hey, how are you? Okay, so like if we have Emma Chamberlain on, we're not gonna feel this way.
No,
Like,
no, no, no.
I like the idea that we're both nervous wrecks so bad that we like can't even do this fucking interview. Like we just start like being like insane and like saying random
Yeah.
things.
No, I like that it's like we don't ask him a single question.
And we just tweak the whole time. We're just like,
Yeah.
I feel like my birth control is not working because
No.
of this interview.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, and I'm the quality of video. Hold on.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
I'm on my phone hotspot now.
Nice.
Had
Okay.
to go like to some caveman measures to get.
Have you just
Seems
like
like
been
it's
at the
working.
studio or like all day or
Yeah, all day. Well, we're staying in LA for an Airbnb this week, so we can do
okay.
some mixing. But we've been in the studio for like 2 months now, so this is the final stretch. We're
Pretty
working out.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very awesome. It's been a very long time coming.
Wait, so can
But
people hear you right now? I always wonder that when I'm like talking to someone, I'm like,
oh
is
no,
Like in
there
a
like
public
I
place.
they're in that chamber over there. That's our
cool?
recording
Whoa.
chamber, or
Hey
that's our console
guys.
chamber.
Dungeons and
Wait,
Dragons.
so could you physically
Yeah.
feel it when we were gonna reschedule? Because we could feel it when you were going to.
I could
Like
physically feel that
psychically.
something was wrong with my day because Lucas and I were we were already it's kind of it's kind of our fault because we were like 2 hours late to the studio that day.
Mhm.
And we were in the car and I was like, "Oh shit, it's a different time zone." I literally forgot like last minute. So we could have been here on time and I could have just gone to so
It's like
It's
totally it's totally
yeah,
but
it
fine.
was like
I
We
meant
were
to
know.
also
happen.
both like tweaking. I took an anxiety pill that day and it was making me tweak, and then Samira was just like tweaking on like, you know.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
I
I'm so sorry.
No, it was awesome,
What do
no,
you
it was
honestly.
take?
good.
What do you take for anxiety?
I I don't like I have my friend's anxiety like as needed pills for like when I'm like oh like performance anxiety for like reading at like an open mic or something like that. So I
Sure,
have
yeah.
propanolol in a little baggie on my on my
Oh,
thing, and it's not
nice.
prescribed.
Oh, okay. No, no, no. That's like the really cool way to do it, I think. But it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
really expensive anyways. Why would you get your own prescription? I steal
Yeah.
Xanax from my girlfriend sometimes when I'm having anxiety attacks.
That's
Does it work
awesome.
well
But
for you?
I don't know. It makes me feel like a zombie for sure. For like when I because she lives in Portland, so I go to see her every now and then.
Mm.
For some reason at the beginning of the year, I was having like a really bad panic attack about getting on the plane, and I had to take some Xanax. Like for the very first time in my life, it was baby's first Xanax. It totally
Mhm.
knocked me the fuck out, and I felt like a vegetable for a couple of days, but it got me through it. So
Sorry, this is so like I shouldn't be like saying this like, but that reminds me of like the Shane Dawson video.
Oh,
He
wait,
like
no, no,
takes
no,
like
no,
the
no.
anxiety pill before he goes on the plane and he like tweaks and stuff. And I
I
think it was
haven't seen
Xanax.
that.
Yeah, no, I
It
don't
probably
you like
was.
shouldn't have. Like, I don't know.
I never
Dying.
watched Shane
Yeah.
Dawson until recently because I was curious. So
Same.
Yeah.
I got into a lot of Shane Dawson and James Charles
Oh
lore
my God.
videos to observe because I kind of missed the curve.
Well, it was an era for sure. It was
It
awesome.
was, but it
Yeah.
was like kind of awesome. I watched. Are you guys familiar with Nikki Carry On?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so.
She's a YouTuber. She was part of. I mean, I don't really know how much I should say about it because she was part of that channel Arcade Craniacs, which disbanded for reasons. They did like the Among Us at 4 a.m. video.
I have like no
I
idea. I
Uh,
don't.
how do I even explain this? Like,
Ugh.
it's sour like funky, or it's a tomato with a bone in it. You guys don't know about that one? Or fuck, what was like they
I just
did okay.
No, I'm
Anyways,
I
sorry.
don't think we're gonna know it.
it's okay.
I
She
just
does
don't.
commentary videos and she does video essays and she did a whole James Charles deep dive and it was a great like 2 hour long video. And I learned everything about it. It's really sad, honestly. I like I know this is kind of fucked up, but I really
You peel this thing open. It's been out here for days.
What are you doing in here? I'm doing an interview. I'm sorry, Matt. That's my engineer, Matt. Like a 2 hour long video essay just about all his drama, his whole rise to fame and fall from grace. And I found it so interesting. And for like
It
the
is
first
so
half of it,
interesting.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I really pity him. I feel bad. He got famous off of pretty much like nothing almost,
Mhm.
right? That's kind of what the
Yeah.
story was. And then he just was thrown into this insane amount of attention and didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, well,
So
I know that he like
sad.
started on like almost like being like a business guy on like Tumblr or something. Like I don't know if that was
Is
in
that
the
right?
video,
Whoa, that's
but like he
crazy.
like not a business guy, but like he was like selling stuff on Tumblr, making like a profit somehow. Or maybe I have the like platform wrong, but I remember like him talking about that and saying that he always had like a really like business oriented like social media like mindset, which is like
Right.
really weird. But I also feel bad for him because he's just like it's like I don't know, how do you like come back from that? Even though he like has done shitty stuff, but yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean when that stuff came up in the video, I stopped feeling bad for him, obviously,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's very easy not to do those things.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is true.
No, literally. We
Yeah.
had like we had a like fan of like his like
Main like
parasocial
Stan.
relationship fan came on our podcast because I was like friends with her like on Twitter when we both were on like Stan Twitter together when we were
Uh-huh.
younger. And like she came on and like was kind of James Charles apologizing.
Oh,
And it
wow.
was like
Well, because she still
it
is
was
like friends with him and like talks
interesting.
to him and stuff, which is
Really?
crazy. Yeah.
Wow. That is crazy. I don't know. Is that cool for him to have
Yeah.
such a tight connection to his stand base, or is that strange?
That's what we were like talking about, like just with like how, especially like because we talked about this a lot with the way that Stan Twitter used to work, especially just how
Mhm.
parasocial relationships were and how close, especially like YouTubers and influencers were, I feel like, with their fans.
Oh yeah,
And it's
totally.
so
Hmm.
weird, like
It's
to think
really
about
weird.
that.
No, I've seen so many. I mean, obviously, like what was it? Was it the James Charles thing? Oh, I'm thinking about the Colleen Ballinger thing
Yeah.
where she was just in like group chats
Yeah.
and stuff, and like
Yeah.
I've known people separated from my circle or like previously closely knit with it, who would have like Discord servers and stuff like that with their fans.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yeah.
even we had a Minecraft server for a little bit. I
Yeah.
actually kind of want to talk about that because it was a
Oh,
total disaster. It was hilarious.
Wait, that
Um,
sounds so yeah, we'll talk
yeah.
about
okay,
that when
yeah.
we yeah.
I was a total I was a total menace and I kind of destroyed it, but we'll get into that. Um,
No, but that's like funny because I was gonna say like I feel like if you had like because I was gonna ask you and we're gonna ask you about like just like where you've been on the internet kind of, but
Yeah.
that like I was gonna say I feel like you guys feel like you were on Minecraft and you were like being horrible on there because like that was like my experience as like a kid and I feel like I don't know why your aura just like protrudes
You
better. You
can
know what I
like
mean?
tell when someone has that like when like has someone has done that. It's like a vibe.
Yeah.
I think I find that flattering. I definitely like to be like an agent of chaos when it comes to those kinds of things.
Mm.
That's kind of how my band relationship works. Yesterday, like we have a game where we just really try and hurt each other with like poking each other. And I don't play by sides. I play as an agent of chaos to whoever is losing.
That's a good thing to
True.
be. That's a good
Yeah.
thing to be in
Exactly.
the
Yeah, yeah.
dynamic.
It's good. It's balance. Everyone needs that in family.
But also what you were saying about the Colleen Ballinger thing is so interesting because like how you were saying you knew people who like had that with their fans. Like I like used to like man like yeah, like I used to be like on like one of my friends was in that Colleen Ballinger group chat, which is
Wow,
like
really?
so interesting. Like just like internet friends who I had and like so like comparing those two like I don't know, like perspectives is really cool.
Can I ask you actually, like, what has been your experience with Stan Twitter and like how long have you been a part of that? And like, who have you gotten close to? Or, sorry, this is a lot actually to ask. I'm noticing now, but I'm so curious, like,
No, no.
how closely knit to those. I guess we were already talking about that, but I am still curious to know, like, how closely knit to those influencers and the people of interest, like Stan Twitter was, and what your experience was getting close to these people or close to the people that were the closest to them.
Was like I was like very in like I was in like Fifth Harmony and Ariana Grande stan Twitter, so those were like not like where you could get like super close with them. But
Mhm.
I was on Tana Mojo's
Oh,
it's
nice.
so embarrassing to talk about. But it like me and like other people who were like her like bigger like fans like were in like this group chat for her and we like would talk every day. We like had that kind of like dynamic going where we would like see her whenever she was in our city and stuff like that. And it was like, I don't know, it was really interesting.
But
It's like a weird thing to like look back on. Wait, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say
No,
like it was pretty personal like for you at least because like Tana like knew you really well. She like knew your mom. She knew like everyone in the group chat like really well. Like it
you knew
was like it's
your
crazy.
family.
Yeah. Yeah, well, my mom would like I was young. I was like 16. I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
we're the same age. I'm 23 now.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
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 But yeah, I was like like 15 or 16 and my mom would take me to like Playlist Live to like go see her and like she would like take us backstage at like her tours and stuff. It was like so I don't know. It was like a very interesting experience as a like kid who like idolizes that entire
I
world,
mean,
you
that
know.
sounds awesome. That
It
sounds
was
so
really it
cool.
was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. I mean, if I could do that to any of the people like I was watching on YouTube when I was 16, I would flip out. That'd be
No,
awesome.
Yeah.
same.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Well,
That's
it's
like the
interesting because
dream.
like I feel like you guys kind of have like Greer kind of has that kind of like following behind like all of you where people would like be so excited to do something like that. But it's like I don't know,
Yeah, I
those
guess
kinds
we
of
kind of do.
dynamics are so
That's so
different
weird to
now.
think about. Because I totally come from a background of being a fan of stuff. So it's very weird to think about people being a fan, especially now because it's been like so long since we've been active. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do recognize that, and I do recognize us having some stands sometimes. And honestly, it's so cool. It's really awesome because it just
Yeah.
feels like, I mean, it's also kind of weird. I guess it's weird. It's so strange talking about. Sorry, I'm all over the place, but
No, you're good.
it's like on one hand, you have like 1,000 people on the internet who watch you from a distance and from like they're isolated, it's like on the toilet at home, like in their own chamber, while you're being your own person and probably at the same time also doing that. Um,
Yeah.
but they feel a connection of like friendship to you. And
Yeah.
it kind of feels like when you see them in person, it's like seeing a friend, but you don't know who they are. Well, they do. I don't know. I mean,
Mm.
obviously, I'm sure you've heard people talk about this a million times. Um, but I was thrown into a lot later than, my colleagues. Like, you know, the people in my band have experienced this a lot longer than I have, and probably to a much further extent. You know, like I'm definitely not as well known as people in my band or people that we know. Um,
Yeah.
so wanting to be in a band that was popular and to be like, I guess, kind of famous for a long time. Like obviously this has like been my dream since I was a kid. Like I would like send letters to the Naked Brothers band when I was a kid. Like
Stop.
Oh
The
my
Naked
God.
Brothers
I was
band.
obsessed with
I loved
like
them.
big rock stars and musicians like that. Like so hard, especially people that were
Yeah.
my age. Um but like getting a little look at that was the most insane and like euphoric experience I've ever had. And it's totally fucked me up for like my whole life. Like cuz
Mm.
now I kind of just want more. Like not that I need that and I know that I don't need that and it's probably a really unhealthy thing for me to feel. But I don't know, maybe it's cuz like I was like 17 and 18 at the time that Greer got popular and it
Yeah.
was like my first time getting popular or like any attention on the internet at all that it felt just like crazy. It felt like overwhelming, like kind of too much. Like I went on this like power trip in my brain. I'm just like, wow, this is insane. Like I'm actually doing it.
Yeah.
So everything from that point on kind of felt weird, you know, like either a disappointment or like I was just reaching for something. And
That's so interesting with being like, because I'm imagining like since we're the same age, and I think that's like a really interesting comparison to like imagine
Mhm.
kind of dealing with that at like 17, 18. Also, I need to like introduce. I didn't do an intro or anything, but
oh yeah, sorry.
I don't know. No, it's okay. We just like got into it and it
Yeah.
like I got
I
swept
know,
up.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
But no, everything you're saying is like so interesting because like the perspective of like just like wanting more and like I think as a kid when you start out idolizing things, it creates something like really interesting in your head, like a dopamine kind of like addiction almost.
Yeah,
Like especially with idolizing
totally.
people and like trying like to wanting to meet them and anything like that. And then when like you start getting up where you can like be on their level, that like just like changes the way you like I think view like people and like how you view like just like almost like hierarchies of like
Hmm.
humans because it
Yeah.
like fame becomes a different thing.
Yeah. It's also so weird to like go from just like being a fan and idolizing stuff to then being on that other side like pretty quickly and then just having that happen really fast. And that's
Yeah.
like such a weird thing to like, I can't even imagine. Cause then it's like it makes sense that like it would feel because you like had this like idea in your head of what it was going to be like. And then you get into it and then nothing is ever what it you think it's going to be like.
No, it's totally a
Yeah.
different experience than I ever thought.
Yeah.
It
Mm.
was crazy. It was a whole other feeling, and like it's a completely different kind of dopamine because you're all of a sudden paying so much attention to how you look and how you present yourself, and like what the next move's going to be for you. To a way crazier extent, and like I just feel like there were strict rules I set myself, and like I've set these crazy high expectations for myself that feel almost inhuman. Like I'm
Mm.
trying to achieve
Yeah.
some kind of like crazy like this. I have this idea of like this saint in my mind that I'm striving to be and supposed to be, but it's totally unfair to put on anybody.
Mm.
And it's only caused me grief, and it's taken a long time for me to separate myself from that
Yeah.
and
It's
act like a normal person. And I think one of the things that has actually helped me feel normal is talking with like stands like in person. Like I feel like just thinking like, oh yeah, like these are normal people just like me. Like there's nothing
Mm.
I need to be holding myself to. Also, I'm so sorry. Can I go grab some water real quick?
Yeah, you're
yeah,
My
good.
you're
throat
You're
is
good.
like so dry. Okay, I'll be
yeah,
Yeah,
right
you're
back.
yeah. Go for
good.
it.
Okay.
I wonder if we all have the same kind of water bottle brand.
That was my joke. And you made
Talk
Sorry,
fun of
about
I'm
me for
drinking
it.
sorry.
water from Ralph's, you mean?
Oh, we both have great value.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well,
Yeah.
that's I get probably greater than mine.
Maybe.
Okay, wait. Before we continue, let me like do a little intro because we kind of just like went into it.
Oh
But
yeah. Sorry, I got
welcome
distracted.
back to the Internet is Dead podcast. I'm Brittany. Samira's here. We're here with Seth from Greer. It's also known
Ooh.
as the Josh Ovalle. Please be a guest on my
Hey!
podcast.
I'm glad that you said that in the beginning, like to get it over
God.
with.
I just got to get that out of there, the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Josh Ovalle podcast.
We're trying to get Josh on. Samira said she had a nightmare
Oh.
about you joining the podcast. Where like you
Me?
joined and you got mad about our podcast name and then come up with like a good
Oh.
joke about it where I was like, not very funny using someone else's name in your little podcast, girls, is it?
Here, wait,
That's what I was
let's
thinking.
do a bit for it. Let's make it real.
Okay.
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 I don't actually feel that way, but like I want to pretend like I do.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
Okay,
hey
so
guys, welcome back to the Josh Ovalle. Please be a guest on my podcast.
Wait, what?
Podcast.
wait, what's the title of this podcast?
Oh.
No, say that again.
The
Josh
Josh Ovalle. Please
What
be
the
a
fuck?
guest on my.
You didn't tell me what this podcast was called. You think it's okay to use my friend's name?
You
He's
said you
not
told
a
him.
figment of your imagination. He
Sorry.
would be so pissed off right now. He's gonna find you. He's gonna sue you. He's gonna have this podcast taken down and burnt to the ground, actually.
Do you think you could send him a text and get him on here?
Yeah, sure.
Cool,
Come on,
thanks, dude.
right now. There was like someone who commented something being like, if I was a YouTuber and someone made a podcast with my name in it like this, I would kill myself.
I'd kill myself. But that's the joke, okay? So let us
That's
just
the
explain that it is
joke.
a joke, and the whole joke is like, hey, we're making fun of parasocial relationships. Like, get it?
Oh,
That's what I texted him.
that's
What
good.
did you? Oh, cool.
It-
That'll work.
Oh,
And it didn't
didn't
deliver.
send.
That's
What the hell?
room.
Well, okay,
Now
it's
it's
either
over.
Josh or it's me because I am on my phone hotspot and only one of these things can go through.
Well, I guess you're gonna be
Just, yeah.
You gotta make some
Okay.
sacrifices, right? You gotta make some sacrifices.
You can't have it all.
You can't have it
We're
all.
like-
No. You can't be too greedy in this world.
We were talking about you joining. We were like, oh my god, we are gonna blow this thing.
Why?
Because we were like, oh god, we're gonna have to say the Josh Ovalle
Yeah.
thing. This
Oh.
bit went way
We're
too
gonna have to
far.
say it.
We,
Bro,
like,
I'm
did
not.
this.
I'm not Lucas. I'm not Lucas. I'm not
True.
Josiah.
I'm-
I'm actually the chillest one in the band.
Oh. Now that we got that over with, though, we can like keep talking. Sorry.
Thing that you were gonna say
God.
about taking it too far, and then were you gonna say the thing about meeting Noah's
Yeah.
parents?
Do these things where like we used to do like we did a lot of bits when we first met, like me and Samira. We've known each other
yeah,
for like
yeah.
2 years, and like our bit that we used to do was like we tried to get our friend to invite us over to his parents' house, and we were like in the car ride over because we like convinced him to do it, and then we like didn't want to be doing it anymore, and then we were like just like, why did we do this? Like
We
the
were
bit
like, we went too far. Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, like
Yeah.
Okay.
It like goes too far.
Do you have a code word or something for that?
We should.
Because
Oh.
I always I have a problem with taking the bit too far because I get too invested.
what
And
do you have a code word?
No, I think I need a solution more so.
Oh, I know. Maybe it could be like, Josh, could you come on the podcast?
That's good.
No,
you're right.
bad,
Yeah,
too
maybe-
long, too long.
Yeah, maybe I'll use that next time the bit goes too far.
So, are you in? You like
Did
living
you-
in California?
Am I in California?
LA?
You like
Yes.
LA?
Yeah.
The wonderful city of Orange County.
So you're not. So do you have to like do a bunch of things to get to LA? Is it a whole thing for you? I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
the
a whole-
distances.
It's a whole hoop and a basket to get to LA, in fact.
Okay.
For me, at least, I'm broke as fuck. I have no money. I had a job. I was working. Can I even say this on the Is this okay? Hold on. To say,
I think
like,
you can
where I
say
worked?
this.
I think
You're-
you can
yeah.
say it.
Okay. So I worked at a Sanrio store in Orange County
What is that?
for a long time. Like Hello Kitty brand.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
It was
cool.
pretty cool. I got really wanted to get into like character design based marketing and like merchandise and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, that seems like a pretty cool place. Also, I like
Mm.
love Japanese toy stores, and it was really cool.
Mm.
It ended up being a little. Sometimes it was bad, sometimes it was good. But I don't have a job anymore. I quit that job to come record in the studio. It's like an hour drive away from LA. It's not that bad. but
Well,
I don't have any gas money, so
I always like
Yeah.
wonder whether people who are in music are able to make a living off music to do that and like be normal without having a job. So that's like
Especially
interesting to
like,
hear.
yeah, being in LA too, because of how, or like LA, New York, like just anywhere where it's crazy expensive.
yeah, it's pretty unreasonable. I'm not gonna lie. It's like very crazy. But also, we have never really taken it super seriously to a point where we could be doing that. Like,
Mm,
for example, we've only done like little tours every now and then, and like our first tour was an opening tour. Our second tour was like a whole year and a half later.
Hmm.
So that's a big difference, right, between shows. And then we've been on hiatus for 2 years, and we also never released an album. I feel like our releases have been so long in
yeah, I
between,
always
and
forget
you
that.
know,
I know.
yeah, it's been I think 5 years since we started at
That's
this point.
Well,
crazy. You guys have such like a like dedicated like fan base still, like
I'm
regardless of all of that.
surprised. I wouldn't blame anyone for bailing at this point. I mean, we've been silent and just gone, like totally absent for so long. Like I would be upset too. I mean, I'm not going to speak on it now because it's obviously a very serious issue, but like very horrible things did happen um, to some of our families. Things that like required us to literally step away and from each other and just like
mm,
you know grieve. Like literally, it was horrible what has
Yeah.
happened. But and between us, like we really, it was like literally just being stuck in a room together for so long,
mm,
and we had to break from each other and just like go our separate ways for a second before coming back and rebirthing our, I guess, musical inspirations together. But
mm.
I'm really thankful we are recording right now. I'm not gonna say what. It's probably pretty obvious at this point. It's been a long time. I'm really excited.
Perhaps
We
a
are recording.
full-length
Yeah.
album.
I don't
Perhaps.
know. Yeah, I don't really know what that is. But it could be whatever you just said. It could be. Yeah, it
No,
could
I
be that.
get that. But I'm sorry to hear that like stuff was going on. I'm glad that it's better now and you guys have like come
Yes,
back together
it
after
Yeah.
it
that.
it was a very big bonding experience for us, and it was really sad to have to, you know, put aside what we were working on, especially because we were just off of a really fun tour with our friends in Disc, the band Disc. We really love
Mm,
them.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was well needed. It was much needed, and I'm happy we were able to do it.
I was also gonna say like what Samira was saying about how you guys still have such a dedicated following even through you kind of taking like breaks and stuff. It's definitely just because people I think people more so know you guys as you guys, like not like as like the music you make. It's more of like people following you
Hmm.
guys for your personalities, especially because like so much like maybe like not as much like you, but I think like just like Greer in general, it was very like, public as like a friend group online and people like idolized that friend group. And I think it's really interesting, like going into music and already kind of having that foundation because it just makes things kind of different.
Yeah, it does for sure. I mean, that obviously also came first before Greer even happened.
Hmm.
Mm,
But I also think it's kind of a magic behind what makes us work so well together and like have so much fun making music. And hopefully,
mm,
what makes our music listenable to people, I feel like that translates through our music is our friendship. And it's
yeah.
true, like honestly, our friendship and our friend group sometimes really does feel like unreal and awesome in those ways. Like, I feel like it's the friend group I would have dreamed about having when I was a kid, and I feel
Aw.
super, super lucky to have these friends, like for sure. Um,
Mhm,
it's kind of hard though to keep the that kind of magic alive, I guess, on Instagram and social media sometimes because it's still kind of taxing, like to make your friendship an Instagram thing or like a social media thing and to have to document it all the time. I feel like I've lost the ability to do that in a way, and I'm slowly kind of
mhm,
figuring out how to do that because obviously that's a big form of marketing. It's a big form of expression and being an artist. Like
mhm,
uh, we were all artists together and expressing ourselves in like awesome and fun ways, and it was really easy because we were all just being friends. But
mhm.
I don't know. It's getting harder at this point. Like I haven't posted on Instagram for so long. And
Hmm.
do I like miss that? Kind of. Um I've been making art and trying to show to people because that's kind of what I was doing before I got into all this mess. But it helps to step away from Instagram. It's like a lot of pressure, you know? You're like
Yeah.
Mhm.
constantly looking at like who's following you and who like I mean, I'm kind of crazy. I'm kind of crazy with that. I have a lot of anxiety with that. It's like it's really
No, but I
affected
think
me.
everyone has that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like to
I'm
some
sure
Like
everyone
extent at
everyone's
does.
so
least.
hyper aware.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it becomes a total hyper aware thing where you're constantly
Hmm.
checking who's unfollowing, who's following, and like seeing I've had a big dip, right, in followers. Business has been slowing down, but it's okay, you know, like that's what happens. And at the time, it totally affected me, and it totally made me feel
Mm.
like my worth was being lost. But
Well, I'm curious kind of like what like as like your friend group and Greer has evolved, how has your relationship with it being so public evolved? And also just like, I don't know, I'm curious how you felt like joining into Greer and if like, you have just like an overview of like its evolution as a band too and how it kind of affected your life and on social media.
oh man, I mean, yeah, that's a I hope you don't mind me like slowly figuring this out because there's a lot of stuff to
No,
do.
No, you're good.
And I talk kind of slowly sometimes, so I'm sorry
No,
about that.
you're
But
totally
you're
fine.
good. Yeah.
it's it's been like a crazy like it feels like journey for me spiritually and physically and everything. I think as we were all starting to feel the same way because I'm not the only one here. Like I know all of us for a fact are just like got super fatigued from Instagram and from posting ourselves
Mm.
online,
Hmm.
especially when like we had some managers at the time who were really pressing us. We're like, you guys got to post skits. You guys got to post pictures of your face. You guys gotta sell T-shirts of you in like a boy band position with like big pink text on top. It's a shirt we have. It's kind of funny. I like it now, but at
That
the
is
time
kind of funny.
Yeah.
I was like, that's stupid. Like, I don't want to be some dumb boy band. Like, I still want to be myself. At the time, like, I was really, really trying to get everyone to keep posting and like, because I don't know. Like I said before, coming from a position of being a fan of so much stuff and like
Mm.
having this excitement and total like awe for growing in popularity and like being exposed to all these people all the time was awesome to me, and it was this like euphoric addiction thing I was chasing.
Well, how
I
old were
was
you when you
just
were kind
like
of in that position? Like
I
when did that
was
change for you?
I had just turned 18 and I was like
Okay.
still 18. Yeah, it was like I was still forming, you know. And
Hmm.
Hmm.
before that, like my place on the internet and my place in the world was so much like miles apart from that. I mean, if you
Hmm.
Mm.
guys don't mind me talking about myself, like what I
No, yeah,
did
we want
before.
you to, yeah.
So I was in a band with Corbin for 5 years, starting
Okay.
from freshman year of high school. We were like this psych rock indie kind of grunge band. Like we just played like Nirvana covers and Alice in Chains
Uh,
covers
That's sweet.
and Stone
Aw.
Temple
did
Pilots
you guys meet in
covers.
high school?
Yeah, we did. Well, we didn't go to the same high school. I actually met Corbin through this band because had my dad's doctor was the singer's son. It was a weird
Whoa.
thing, but like we were in that band for 5 years, playing in like shitty bars and getting like $25 a night for that.
Mm.
It was bad. I couldn't write any music. The singer didn't really give us any room for that. I love him still. Like he's awesome. He has a special place in my heart. They all do. Um, it was just a weird experience. Like I was a total nerd. Like I was cosplaying every day during that time. And like that was my musical like adventure starting off was that band. But if
Mm.
I didn't do that, I would have probably still been like cosplaying and like doing stuff like that right now, which I still kind of like want to get back into for sure because it's super fun. And I've been a
Yeah.
part of like that anime community online for like years and years. Like that was my first internet kind of group.
Mhm.
Was being a part of
Hmm.
like little anime like group chats and stuff like that. It was really fun, you
No,
know.
that's really
But
cool.
yeah, it like I was really craving a band that would do well, like a lot, as any band. It was totally like I hit the jackpot, I feel. Because no band
Mm.
from OC, like, I mean, a lot of bands from OC have gotten popular. Obviously, like, there's The Garden, like, and back in the day, there's like, No Doubt and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's totally unheard of for a band to just like make one song and like it's super popular,
Mm.
which was my dream come true, right? Like I've
Yeah.
been in this band for years where we're playing in like bars, um, once a month because our singer didn't want to play shows very often, which was really shitty. And making like $25. I think the most I ever made in that band after a year was like $600, which is like, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
enough to like buy me food for 2 months, maybe. Yeah, I just got so sick of it. I made a new band, and that was Greer. I was like, okay, uh, I'm gonna go do my own thing now. And I met Lucas in high school. Actually, Lucas was
Mm.
at our first show, or not our first show, but one of our shows. We played a Splendid Palace, um, before
Oh
Greer
yeah, yeah.
happened, and yeah, and Lucas was there, and he was like, "Yo, that was awesome. That was so cool. Oh, we should totally jam sometime." And I was like,
Aw.
"Yeah, that sounds really cool." And so we were like, "Wait, we go to the same school, and we've gone to the same school for 4 years. That's really weird." And it's like, "Okay, yeah, let's like talk about this later." So we did, and it turned out like we had a lot of the same influences. Like we were both really into the Breeders and the Pixies and the Pillows, which is a band that did the music for this anime that like I'm so obsessed with. I'm even wearing a t-shirt for it right now. I was like, this is crazy. I've never met anybody who likes all three of these things at once and more. We were like bonding over the same animes and stuff like that. It was magical.
It's
That's
So
so
we
really
cool how
sweet.
stuff
jammed
like that is
and
like what bonds you with someone. That like because
Yeah.
that's what the
I
internet is
know.
too. That's so cool.
And it's also
Yeah,
cool that,
exactly.
yeah, you just like meet people at the right time, I think. Like we talk about this a lot, but like how you can like know someone for a lot of years, but you don't meet them or you don't become close with them until it's like the right time for you guys to become
Well,
close.
okay, literally on that point, I knew Josiah since middle school. We went to the same middle school together.
Hmm.
And I
Whoa.
didn't like, I wasn't friends with him at all. He was kind of a dickhead to me, or like, so I thought. Which, looking back on it, he was just like super hilarious to me. And like, I've been super, super sensitive all my life. So
Hmm.
I don't know. He was really funny. He was like full on like choir kid. Like, he was getting really famous on Instagram for singing. Like, he's like a talented and trained singer, which is crazy.
Did he
And
like
I didn't
have a
realize this
following
at the
for
time.
singing like before anything else?
I don't really know exactly what the backstory is, but I think he like got posted on one of those, like at the time they were really popular, like Hot Vocals or like My Hot Vocals or what the fuck. I'm pretty sure he got posted on there for a singing video he did, and it got like 1 million views or something like that, or and
Whoa.
everyone followed him for it. I
Mm.
mean, he's so talented, and he had a coach I think for a while, but most of it he like did himself. Like he's a crazy, crazy good singer. I've never met a singer that good who's my age. It's insane.
Uh-huh.
He's got pipes, and
No,
I
his
didn't know
voice is
this at the
really
time.
unique and cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he was trained in like R&B and pop, which is I didn't think he would be a good fit for a band at the time, because I was trying to make this like alt rock band, and like I came from a punk
Mm.
background and I wanted to make a punk band really badly. Um, so we met at a party with Lucas one time, and I re-met him after like 5 years of not knowing each other, and it was like just an instant bond with all three of us. So we started making a band together, and we're like, "What's our common interest? Like where can we fall like in line here?" And we wrote some songs together. And a couple months later, we had a band. I was like, "Let's bring in my guitarist from the other band. He's tired of this shit too." And then we just got really popular, and it was crazy, and it affected my brain in so many ways because it was like an explosion of all my
Mm.
hopes and dreams like in one place. It was like what the hell just happened? It's like 1 second
Yeah.
I'm like in my
Oof.
room playing video games, watching anime, and then like the next room or the next day it's like I have like 1 million listens on Spotify.
That's
Um and like
crazy.
everyone
That's
at my
such a cool
school knew.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool, right? It seems really cool, and I'm thankful for it for sure. It was like awesome, but it also
Mm.
like I'll never be the same since that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
feel
that would
like
mess with my brain so much and like my sense of identity.
yeah,
I feel like
I like I didn't even get that popular. Like in retrospect, 1 million listens on Spotify and like what we have is still not a lot compared to artists our age who have excelled like that. I mean, maybe it's weird
Mm.
still of me to compare ourselves to that.
I
Obviously, I
don't think
shouldn't
it
be comparing
is.
myself to anyone.
Yeah, I think it
I
was
mean,
just
I
like
think you
normal.
guys just
Like,
have like also like a super niche like community around all of you where I don't know, like even like looking at listens, it isn't exactly even like what that following is, I don't think. Because I think like I don't know, it's more based in just like all of your individual like personalities almost. Like as someone who like kind of watched it like kind of like rise, you know?
hmm
And like
it is really
people like
cool how
know
we
me.
have like a blending, a melting pot of people who like all of these individual characters in our band, which it makes me
Yeah.
feel
Mm,
validated that some people might follow me for me. Obviously, like a lot of people are following me for who I am with my friends, which is also really cool because I feel like I am myself with my friends, and it's not hard to be that person. But it's really cool. I feel like we're opening a lot of doors for like a community to form, with a bunch of
mm,
people with like different backgrounds of music and different
Hmm.
backgrounds of like interests. Like there, I didn't really think at first we'd get a lot of people who'd be into the same music as me or like the same stuff as me, but we do for some reason, and it's
Yeah.
awesome, and I really love that shit.
mm,
It's really cool to see ourselves reflected within our fan base, which is flattering,
mm.
you know?
It's also like fascinating um because like aside from it just being something that has this like really specific community that's like feels like they like really know you, it's also like a band in remembrance of Emma Greer, who in her own way was like an internet phenomenon, and
Yeah.
you still feel really close. Like, does it feel weird that so many people like who didn't actually know her in person feel so connected to her? I mean, I know it's like a really beautiful, like someone who actually knew her. And then also just like how it feels for you to feel so like people know you so well, you know?
So that's like a whole thing. I mean, I actually never knew Emma either. Um,
Mm.
I came after the fact, and I never had Vine either. I didn't have that.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wait, so
so
you
Whoa.
didn't meet anyone online either, like Josiah or Lucas? You
no,
guys
no,
all
I
just met
met
in person.
these people in person. Yeah,
Whoa.
I
That's
didn't know
crazy.
who any of
Yeah.
these people were. I didn't really know any of the background. And yeah, it has been really weird because I question if I really feel like I am, you know, valid for carrying on this legacy of somebody I didn't know. And it makes me really sad because I really wish I did know her, and I really wish I did
Mm.
have more of a connection behind this legacy. But I also, tell myself that at the same time I'm still, I just can't lose sight of what this is for. And there's
Hmm.
Mm.
times where I feel like we really have and do. But what it's about is carrying on a legacy and carrying on this connection, like that in grief comes a connection. And I feel like while none of us, apart from Lucas, really knew Emma, I feel as though I've learned all about her through stories and through our friends, and through what we
Oh, that's so
created as
beautiful.
well.
I know.
Yeah, it does feel beautiful, and it's like one of my first times really reflecting on it.
Mm.
But yeah, it feels like there's a lot of responsibility, um,
Mm.
because at the same time that I am in a popular band, I'm also carrying the legacy of somebody I didn't know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but I want to keep that a clear vision. I think it's
Mm.
really important, and I think that from what I've learned, Emma was an amazing person and really awesome, um, uh, to many many lives. Like it seems like Emma was like the most insanely awesome person,
Yeah.
to
People
say the
still like have
least.
so much love for her online,
Yeah,
like
Hmm.
I
people
know.
who don't even know her. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw this, but like, we like interviewed Nick Radigan from Current Joys, and he was talking
I did
about
watch it.
how
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And he like yeah, for anyone who like didn't see it, like basically he was talking about how like Emma like affected his career a lot. Like she was one of his first like big blow ups on Vine. And
Hmm.
like it was just crazy watching then like he was just like saying how he didn't even know what to like really do or navigate because like his like music was so tied to this person. And it was funny watching like us talking to him about that and then like post it and then like all of this like crazy like feedback from people who love her so much, like almost like creating the same feeling that he was describing. It's just so insane that I don't know. It's like really lovely that people still think about her and like when something like just like is posted online, they're like, "Oh my God, we miss Emma." And it's really sweet,
Yeah.
but it's just like such an interesting dynamic too that like someone who doesn't even know her is so like tied to her or like all these people are so tied to her. But I mean, I think that's a really cool
Yeah.
thing about the internet.
I mean, I've learned a lot from the community, I feel. Like
Mm.
as much and probably more than the stuff that I've learned about from my friends. And I feel like it's also been a bonding experience for me and a community here of people that want to carry on this person's legacy. It just
Mm.
is still strange to me at times that, I'm wearing this person who passed away and that I don't know. I'm wearing their name on my chest.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not just the name of a person, but it's now a name of a band, and it's the name of a brand that we have. Like um, it at times it becomes really weird, and yeah, I do question whether or not that's right to me, um, because I don't know. I feel like I have some uh passionate views on what is the term, like is it ingenuity, like being genuine, um
Hmm.
and I feel like that's more important than anything else. um so what I feel is that it's just a big responsibility that at times I feel I am not ready for, like I and I feel like when that was happening, and still I'm 23, but I feel like I'm just
Yeah.
a kid still with all this responsibility on my hands that I have to learn how to use. And
Mm.
anyone in my position has to learn how to use and has to know how to keep that legacy strong. It is something that we're fighting for. We're making a statement for.
Mm.
And it has to be genuine, and it has to be uh, for love. And I
Yeah.
feel like no matter what we do, we always have to remember that what we're doing is in the name of love, for sure.
Mm.
Sorry, that's like a tangent. I don't even know what
No,
point I
No.
was
no.
trying to make, but yeah, it's been a weird journey for sure.
Yeah.
Like the responsibility of Greer is really insane, and at times when we've made like pop songs, it's like what are we making this for? Is this for us, or like you know is this for the world?
That is like a
Or is this
really
for the
interesting thing that you like like just described about being like 23 and having to like you're like forced into this position of like obviously it's something you want, but you have to learn how to use this right. And that's like a
Yeah.
yeah.
very weird thing to have that many people watching you. And I'm just like curious how that's like affected your identity or if it's like weird seeing people kind of idolize your friend group in general too.
I mean, it's been strange just because it feels like weird that my friend group I'm also seeing online, because
Mm.
I look at myself as a consumer of stuff. I listen to so much music. I watch so much YouTube and shows and like everything. Like I idolize so many people. So when I look over and I see my friends are right next to the people that I watch, it is weird. It makes you feel like I don't know if I'm ready for that anymore. Like at the time, like I was saying, when this was a high to me, I was on top of
Mm.
the world. Like this was insane. This is awesome. But it's like I don't know if I um feel like I have the power to keep up with that in the same way that I do. But you know, after reflecting on that feeling, I feel as though maybe it's just a matter of perspective, and maybe I'm looking at it as I once did, and seeing myself as I have to be this character, I have to be this person,
Mm.
rather than I just need to be myself, and I like to express myself, and I should do it if I want to.
I was gonna say earlier, like when you were talking about like just like having a friend group that kind of feels like magic because I feel like we experienced that like Brittany and I when we first met each other and we met like our like original like big friend group. And it's really funny because I remember like being in that, and then we were like talking to each other and being like, this like kind of feels like Joshua I like friend group, because we both like just grew up watching that friend group and like
Mhm.
idolizing it. And then for the first time in our lives, we like had something similar where it was just like, oh, these are people that we genuinely love and people that we connect with. And it was just like such a sweet thing. And it's also interesting because I feel like I struggle with this a lot where I feel like I just struggle with knowing who I am, like outside of the context of my friends and outside of my like relationships with them. And it's kind of like a thing where I've like shifted my perspective of it to be like, oh, but like I am just like the most genuine version of myself when I'm around my friends, I feel like. But
I
yeah.
agree. And it's honestly really cool that that friend group has influenced the people like that. I think that's awesome.
Mm.
It makes me feel like there's a universal bond between all of
Hmm.
us, which is kind of
Well,
cool. You know, like
Yeah.
meeting
yeah.
people at shows, it's like we're all kind of on the same page about stuff, and it feels comforting and like relaxing. And it kind
Yeah.
of feels like all that pressure that I put on myself of being, somebody that I have to, uh, of having to be this person that I am online, or and I mean less so for me, more so for me, following in the footsteps of my peers, who are the people fronting this internet image and who are much more popular than me, or meet people in person. So it takes all that pressure off, I feel, because I I feel like they just treat us like normal people and like we're just kind of friends, which is really cool. Um,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
I like making friends a lot. And while it's weird to think about, oh, these people like know me, but I don't know them, that is strange. It still is cool. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's
so
like,
much of the appeal to it is like you guys like I don't know, it's like always people who like at least with my experience, like I've met so many people who are like, "Oh, I'm just like seeing this like friendship that I want so badly." And
Mhm.
like that's so much of the appeal I think, which is like cool. And like what Samira was saying, like I remember also like yeah, like I would like watch like videos of like everyone just like having fun and I would be like oh, these people are like me. And it's like in the same way
Yeah.
you're saying that, oh, these people are just like me. And it's like a two-way thing. And it's like so cool.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's anyone can be like that and have friends like that. Unfortunately, it's hard to do that. And I'm sorry to talk about myself so much, but for a
No,
No,
long time
we
I
want
had
you
that's
to.
what it's for.
really okay,
That's what it's for.
I guess I'm the guest. I guess I'm
Yeah.
the guest. I guess I'll talk about stuff a little bit. Whenever I
Yes.
met these friends, I had bad friends. Like my whole life, like every
Hmm.
friend group I've been in, I've been like bullied. Like like a lot of my life I was bullied really hard, like by my
Mm,
friends as well. And like it took me a long ass time to disconnect myself. For a year, I was like fully had no friends, just like literally sitting by myself like every day, just like isolation.
Yeah.
Um I finally found the people that like really fit with me. And I
mm,
feel like they're out there for everyone. Like I really have no doubt in my mind that every person like has a place in the world. And whether or not that's just finding the right people, or also I think maybe just others putting in the effort to, you know, try new experiences and bond with people, it feels like every person is capable of having a friend group like that and sharing that love. It's
mm,
really all about like a love, it's a
Hmm.
type
yeah.
of love that feels great. And I feel like, people like us are very lucky to have found something like that. And it feels like
Mm,
um, when we all meet together, it's one big friend group or family that's known each other for a long time. It's kind of like world peace, like in the room. It's pretty awesome.
mm.
I really hope that people around the world can. This is getting really preachy. This is
No,
getting really funny.
No.
I really hope that people around the world
no.
can find the friends they deserve.
No, but it really is like so world changing and like I think one of the most important things like I know that not everyone's like a people person, but I also think we all are people
Like and
people
like that's
and
like the
like
point of being human, kind of.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
it
like
is. It is the point of being human.
also like what you were saying like earlier about how you and like Lucas and Josiah all bonded over like your interests, I think is such like an interesting thing because a lot of the times like I think people are like drawn to things who have these similar experiences because it almost feels like everyone who watches like like Josh's videos and like follows you guys online. Like everyone's like this like kid who wanted friends so bad, you know, or who like what like grew up like in the same way that you explained, like is this kid who like was like bullied and like saw like these people being funny and they're like, oh my God, they have like humor and self-awareness and like there's people out there with like emotional intelligence and like humor and like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I think it's just like
Yeah,
cool
no,
that then
it's
like
awesome.
yeah.
It's kind of sad though when you put it like that. It
No, but
really
it's
is like,
Oh,
sweet
but it like
like
gives you hope, I feel
because
like it's
like
kind of
people
yeah, it
bond
inspiring.
over
does.
you in the same way that like you bond over other things with other people, which is
Hmm.
so cool. Like it's the cycle.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're really right. I mean, I think a lot of that is also kind of hard work, like as silly as
Yeah.
that sounds. Because at least for my journey with finding friends was like uh self needs, and like I was struggling a lot with like panic disorder. Like it was really bad for a while, and I it
Hmm.
was crippling me, and I wasn't looking
Mm.
after the needs that I needed to function like a normal human being. But once I did, I found out like what I needed in the world and what I wanted in the world. And I think a lot about finding friends is also about like being a friend to yourself and knowing what you want and what you need and standing up for yourself and standing up for the kind
Mm.
of love you deserve, you know, because everyone deserves some. And if you feel like the people around you are making you feel unworthy or undeserving of that love, it is just a sign that you probably need to seek it somewhere else, of course.
Mm. No, I just think that also what you were saying about like you having to spend like a lot of time alone to kind of like reflect and like give yourself that love is really interesting because I feel like I hear that story a lot of the time where like kind of like a world opens up for someone after they kind of let go of things that aren't right for them, and I think that's just like a really cool thing. And it's really cool that like that kind of sounds like something that like you experienced.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely, it was a lot of hard work as well. I was going to therapy for like years and years since I was like 8 up until I was 18, and
Hmm.
that also helped me a lot. I'd say that any psychological or like emotional help uh, is is awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's something I had to do every once in a while. Like literally when Greer went on hiatus, it was like also probably one of the worst times mentally for me. Um, just because so much was happening at once, and everyone isolated themselves from each other. It was like nobody was talking to each other, not a
Mm.
single one of us. And I felt like at the time my whole world crumbled around me, and I lost all my friends and all the things I loved and hoped for. And it was a lot of me being alone with myself in a bad way, and really struggling um, with that. But I like it was a lot of hard work of having to find peace with that, you know, find self love and trying to work on my mental health to a point where I felt like I didn't need my band, you know, and at a point, um, if things didn't work out, then they didn't work out, and I'd be totally okay with that. I'm just a normal guy,
Mm.
and there's not a
Hmm.
lot I can do here. And a lot of it is about letting go. I feel at that point. Um,
Yeah.
and I feel
Yeah.
like our bond is now stronger with my band.
Like almost associating with that kind of role of being in a band and that being and like all of your friends obviously. I mean losing your friends or like not talking to them for a long time I feel like would make anyone go crazy.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
But
I literally did go crazy. Like I was like scratching at the walls, like it was insane. Like I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, what were you gonna
mm.
say? Finish your thought. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, I don't even remember. I think I was just going to ask how you feel like you were able to detach from that identity and that role because I feel like we all kind of fall into like roles like that in our lives where you become really attached to the thing you're doing and like kind of it becomes your happiness. But also how much of that is just like you being like happy and like having
Yeah.
a
Mhm.
lot like going on in your life that like makes you feel like balanced. I don't know.
I mean, before this big schism, I kind of felt like I needed other people and like I needed my band because I felt so attached to them
Mm.
that I needed them to do stuff, and I couldn't express myself or be happy without them. And that connection was like everything I had, the band, my career. It was like my whole future, you know. And to detach from it, it was so painful. It was probably the most painful thing I've done in a long time. But it was I just had to let go and accept like the consequences of, you know, or not the consequences, but the harsh reality of like what a failed band might look like and what my career might look like if it didn't work out because of creative differences or because of just not all of us being on the same page with each other. And
what like brought you guys back together?
Just time and healing, and I think eventually talking with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it's not like we ever got into an argument or it was nothing. Thankfully, of course, I mean, it was nothing like super gnarly or no hatred towards each other, no malice. It was just like unfortunate events that made things fall apart because of you know, our mental states just crumbled.
Yeah.
It was like a morale breaking, and it was really horrible. Maybe this will be maybe we'll talk about this later. It's like it's not my issue also to talk about, but what I can say is it was really sad, and but we're doing a lot better now, and we're healing from it.
I'm glad.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of days, but I'm really thankful to just have my friends back because I love them. But yeah, it was a big experience of trying to function without needing my career in my life, and finding stuff that I like to do myself. And so I wrote a lot of music myself, and I picked up new hobbies. I started sculpting and stuff like that, and it really helped me. Like I was like, this is so I can express myself without.
Wait,
them.
yeah, I've seen your helmets or your hats on Instagram. Yeah, and they're really
like
cool.
To make. Thank you. Yeah, those are like little headpieces I make with
yeah, I like them.
Thank you. Yeah, they're really fun to make. It's very cathartic and it's like healing.
Sculpting just seems so like therapeutic. Like anytime I see someone sculpt, I'm like, yeah.
Especially for someone who has a difficult time using my hands. I feel like I am really like what's the word? I'm really impulsive with creating things. So like when I get my hands on clay and like sculpting stuff, I'm just like like, I just like go for it because I can't stop. Like when I get into an artwork, an art grind, like I can't stop working on anything. Like I'm very tunnel vision. I'm super dedicated to a
like
point
the
where,
flow state of art.
Yes,
yeah.
I have the flow state like constantly. It's always tunnel vision and just always like pushing myself.
You read the book Flow State, or
I didn't. Sorry,
okay, cool.
I did not get that reference.
It's not really a reference, but it's just it's like a side thing of Flow State, like subcategory.
I really need to read that. I've heard that it's kind of like essential reading.
It's a good book, but my ex told me to read it.
Oh.
So what are you gonna do with that?
I don't know. X books are not really my thing. I read a lot. I don't read a lot. Can you tell?
You can't tell.
I can't.
Really? Because I feel like
you're a chatty guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm chatty, but I say a lot of bullshit. I read a lot of manga. That's like all I read, pretty much.
I know the one where they fall in the holes.
They fall in the holes?
Yeah, there's holes for their body shapes. I read that manga.
Oh, that's a Junji Ito manga.
Yeah.
That's oh my god, yeah, that one's fucked up. That volume, because that's a short story, and a couple of other ones are in there. That one's fucked up. That one specifically made me so scared. So freaky.
I do want to ask, like, on that note, like, what other like internet communities have impacted you? Because obviously, anime and stuff. Like, we gotta get into this.
For this question. Yeah. So before all this greer stuff, growing up, this is kind of outing myself to these really embarrassing communities.
Dude, I told you I was in Tana Mojo Stan Twitter. Like you have nothing that you can say that's worse.
The bottom of the.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So I got really into Homestuck for a while. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
What is it?
Like, what is it?
It's like fan base Homestuck.
Homestuck.
For the internet, I'm outing myself as an old Homestuck fan. It was like
so what is this?
The cringiest like fan base you've ever seen. It's like My Hero Academia on steroids.
Wait, is it this comic?
Yeah, it's a web comic. So it's a web comic that was
Aw.
made by this one guy. It's like an interactive one. It's like a game. There's a lot of like gay relationships between characters and but also really weird and sometimes controversial stuff,
Mm.
which like garnered a really rabid and insane fan base. Um I guess like the closest thing to it was the Hasbin Hotel fan base right now.
I also don't know what that is. What is it?
Oh, it's like a very popular like cartoon right now. It's like an adult cartoon.
Okay.
Like how to describe it? It's like demons and the
Husband.
sexy Tumblr
Oh,
characters.
Oh,
I've like seen this.
yeah.
Like I've seen
Homestuck was
people talk
also
about this. Yeah.
one of the gay sexy Tumblr things for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah, I think
Um
I've seen
Okay,
this.
okay.
Yeah.
So were you
yeah,
on Tumblr for it or
I wasn't
okay.
too young for that. I
Okay.
started in this fan base when I was 13. My girlfriend in middle
Okay.
school showed it to me, and we both got into cosplay together. And so I was a really big part of the cosplay community at that time. And I spent a
Okay.
lot of time cosplaying. We would go to conventions like all over California. It was like my favorite thing to do ever.
Aw.
Um,
Wait, is that your current girlfriend or
no, my middle school
okay.
girlfriend, yeah,
Oh.
no, my middle school
Okay.
girlfriend is her name is Bella. She lives in Portland. She's awesome. I love her.
Oh.
And
Shout out Bella.
shout out Bella, my bae thing, my boo, my wifey,
I
and
saw that video of you being like, I'm holding her in my computer screen.
oh
And I
yeah,
liked that.
I
Because I was
forgot
That
like,
was
about that.
funny. That was a good video.
I
I
just
found that actually like 2 days ago. Because
Yeah.
I
I
was
was
like,
like,
let's see what we should ask this guy.
Let's do some
I
research.
just kind of threw that on there and forgot about it. And then like I looked the next time, like, huh, that's like the most famous video I've ever released. And
Really?
why is it that one?
Yeah, I feel like anytime you post anything about like a relationship or about like a partner, it always just goes like
Oh yeah,
that always
me and
gets so
Bella
many
stuff
views.
blows the fuck up every time. On her account, she's much more famous than me on TikTok. She had like 50K and like 2 million likes when I found her, and she was blowing up. And when we got on there, it was a great time. People
No.
really liked our content. We were
Oh.
the Jasper and Alice of TikTok for
Oh,
I
Joe. That's
It's
so
it was
funny.
pretty cool. I was like,
That's
hey,
so
they're kind of funny
funny.
looking and sexy looking. I'm down with that. But hold on, I want to talk about the TikTok stuff later.
Okay.
But
yeah.
so sorry, I just really want to get into this other stuff. So Homestuck was an awesome community, but also was a terrible community. I was very young and impressionable. A lot of people liked my cosplays romantically as well. It garnered. Sorry, this is okay. So trauma dump time.
Romantically.
Story
I
time.
know.
Yeah. I so I don't know how much I can even say about this, but I was groomed in that community. Um,
Uh
kind of not severely, but to a point where it definitely changed the way I view myself on the internet for a long
Mm,
time. And that
that's
community
sucks so
had a
bad.
lot of flaws. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was weird. It was a really weird community. And not only myself suffered that, unfortunately. There's a lot of people in the community who had the same thing happen to them.
Yeah,
So
I'm sorry you
I
had to
don't
go
know.
through that.
yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, it was. I didn't think anything of it at the time, and it didn't really affect me. So I'm not gonna say that it was like a huge
Hmm.
arc in my story because it didn't really do anything to me. But it is funny to think about, and it has like subtly changed my internet presence in a way, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely am super sensitive to that now, and I really feel for
Hmm.
people who suffer from that as well. Like it's fucked. It's really weird, also,
Well,
especially because you're so disconnected from people you talk to
Well, it's
online.
so weird how like normalized that used to be online.
Yeah, it, dude. Oh my
yeah. No, that's
God,
what I was
it was
gonna
so
say.
Also,
normal.
sorry,
It's
my
like
thing's like cutting in and out, so I might have just talked over
no,
you
it's
by
okay.
mistake.
No, I appreciate it. It's a discussion, so you feel free to do that anyways.
Oh yeah, I like isn't because I'll see like TikToks and stuff from people now who'll talk about like how they were like 13, 14 on in different online communities, like sharing their experiences being groomed or just like whatever it is. And it is crazy how normalized it was and how much that happened because it was like
Yeah,
we kind of talked about this earlier, but just that like the relationship between creators or between like anyone semi-famous and their fans was like an insane relationship.
Yeah, it totally was. And it's really sad to see how many creators would fall low to that
Yeah.
at the time.
Mm.
And
Wait,
take
so were you
advantage.
considered like a creator in that community?
No, I mean, I think the most I ever got was 3,000 followers, which was pretty good in my opinion for being a 13-year-old homestuck cosplayer on Instagram. And a
Yeah.
lot of people seem to think that it was pretty cool and I was good at it, so that was kind of nice. I had a great time in it regardless of the grooming though. It was really fun. That was a big gateway community for me to other communities and to other cosplay communities and stuff like that. Though unfortunately, like I got out of that community and I stopped myself from cosplaying for a while because I was bullied so hard from people like, the people from my school found the account and they're like, oh, like, okay, let's send this guy some death threats. And so
Ugh.
I got a lot of those. A lot of my best friends were like the people that were bullying me. So it was like, that was crazy. It was like betrayal. It was like
Yeah.
treason, like stab in the back. It was insane. Um, so left that community because I couldn't take it anymore. Um, then I got really into like the spam, like Instagram community. Like, I don't know. It's like a weird like rabbit hole. Like there's like people that know like all these random creators through spam communities and like it's like weird like meme account like people that knew each other. But it was also kind of cosplay stuff. I would do like a bunch of anime cosplays at the time and would still go to conventions.
Mm-hmm.
I met people through like liking animes like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and like Berserk, which was kind of funny.
Oh.
And had a great time. It was honestly really fun. It was like we had like a tight knit, like just like close friend of people uh from like all over the world. Like one of my favorite memories was like getting into the group chat with like somebody from like Eastern Europe and somebody from like Britain and like two people from the United States across the country and like we're all still really good friends to this day. Like
Mhm.
when we went to London for our London tours, I got to meet my friend
Oh,
Fergus,
that's so
That's
who
sweet.
so
I've known
sweet.
for years. Yeah. I got to meet him for the first time and we like I love him. He's awesome. Love that guy. But
It's like
yeah,
the
we
coolest
also
thing,
like I
meeting an
got
online friend.
I know, especially when they live across the ocean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you
I
kind
also
of
got
don't
to meet
process them as
multiple people.
being real.
Hmm.
Like when you're that young and you're like talking to people online
Yeah.
who are that far
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
you're like, you're not like that's not even like a possibility.
You're
But
like,
like,
no way,
yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
Into like a lot of gaming communities at the time. I'm a Dark Souls veteran. I've been playing Dark Souls for 8 years now. I was really big into the PvP community. I know like everything about it. You can like I'm obsessed with all those games. So now that
Uh-huh.
Elden Ring is popular, it's like time to let everybody know whose Stomping Grounds they're on, which is kind of awesome. But yeah, I'm a big fan of video games and stuff. I grew up also
Were you on
was really
Minecraft?
yeah, of course. I was on
Okay.
Minecraft. I was
Okay.
really into a bunch of the Minecraft YouTubers. I was really into Ant Venom, also
Okay.
allegations. Uh,
Yeah, no.
I was in,
Yep.
I
Yeah.
was like, who can I name here who doesn't have allegations?
Did you
Probably
watch
no
like
one.
did you watch the Cube ever from
No.
Minecraft? That was like the one
Cube?
who that I was what I was on. I
I haven't
love them.
watched
Oh my
it.
God, I need to get them on here. I will like pee my
You
True.
you
pants.
probably can. I mean,
You
it's clear that
can.
those guys are down to
No,
talk.
they're all like they're all actually just like dudes who are sitting in their living rooms, which is so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what like streaming and that culture is also. That's
That's
probably
so
what
Yeah.
I would have
interesting.
tried to do given like I'm not in a band, but also like honestly before I was in a band and met these guys, I was so awkward and like couldn't hold a conversation with anybody for so long. I was so shy and awkward, terrible at talking, not very funny at all. Not that I am very funny now, but I was a lot less funny back then. Um so I would have failed as a streamer to say less.
No, but
Well, it's
it's
But
crazy
sweet
because
that you
like
can meet
yeah,
other people and like they can like do that like
that
with
is
you. Like
true.
that's
That
like
is
really
true.
sweet.
it's the love.
Yeah.
The love was what powered me through living all those years ago for sure. Like
Mhm.
it was awesome. I feel like my friendships were all online at the time and um it's kind of what helped me like discover like who I wanted to meet in person, like in my community, in my world. Like I was like thinking just do people like this exist like where I live, and yeah, they did, and I got
Oh,
to meet these people, and one of those people happened to be like Lucas and Josiah and Corbin.
Yeah.
So that was really cool, and I feel like exploring friendships and unrestricted access to the internet helped with that, ironically, even though it was also kind of a double-edged sword and led to some problems.
Mm.
And I'm sure anyone who has that has also seen a lot of shit and experienced a lot of shit, but it's helped me like discover, you know, true and real genuine connections with people. I feel like weirdly enough, um,
Yeah.
I just feel like talking with people online has really enhanced the way I talk with people in person.
Mm. No, I
yeah.
like relate to that so much because I also like grew up without like having a lot of friends in person. So
Mhm.
like all of my social interaction was online. And I mean, I think it led me to where I am now and I'm like really thankful for it. But it's crazy because I think the reason like I like crave such like deep connections with people is because I was literally just like a kid on Skype like for like 10 hours straight with like my friends who I met on Minecraft and like we would like tell each other everything, you know?
Oh,
So like I feel like that like really like shows you what love is when you're like not in the same place as someone because it's like, oh, all we can do is socialize and like do what we can without like being in the same space because I think some use something as a buffer and it like isn't like the same kind of connection.
It's
that's
like
so interesting.
yeah, I totally agree. It's a really cool way of looking at it, and I think that you can add on to that by saying it's also a first impression with common interest rather than it is with like presentation of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to
Mm,
present anything when you're making friends online, and you can just
yeah.
kind of go for it and get into the stuff that you like both like. That's why
Yeah.
like you follow somebody and they post something like on their story and it's just like, oh, like I'm gonna swipe up and like be like, dude, you too, which is like such a cool gateway to like I've made so many friends like that.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
like a lot of my friends that I know in LA too. Also, like that's like almost how I met Bella as well, like my girlfriend. She like
Aw.
Oh,
posted
that's
a
so
breeder song, and I
cool.
was like, it was like, hey, and then the rest of
It's
the
like I
time,
wish I
but
could whistle to be like, you know what I mean?
True.
I also can't whistle, but it's
I can't
okay.
It's like
whistle
hubba
either.
hubba.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
exactly. That's my favorite one.
That's better than a
But
whistle, I think.
I was gonna say it's
I
I
agree.
actually haven't thought about the like I have, but like you saying like you're not really presenting yourself. Like sometimes I forget that when I was younger online, I was literally just behind an icon of someone else who I was like idolizing on Twitter, and that's what the people who I met were behind, and we didn't even know what each other looked like, and that's like such a cool thing to like make
Yeah.
friends that way. It's just a voice. Like, but it's not a
Yeah.
voice, it's like just words on a keyboard.
Yeah, it was also scary because like in the homesick community, a lot of the people
Yeah.
were like 25 years old, and I
Yeah.
found that out like later. And at the time, I was like, dude, like I'm like calling and talking a 25-year-old out of suicide right now, dude. How badass
That
is that?
that was
Dude,
a
that
crazy
was a
thing
crazy
to
I
like
thing that
know.
was
talk an internet friend
online.
out of
And looking back at it, I
suicide,
was
but
like,
then
I was talking a 25-year-old out of suicide.
It
What the fuck?
literally. But that also is crazy that that was just
yeah,
such a thing that like because I was in like One Direction like Stan world and then also like just like I was in like the poetry community on Instagram and the poetry community on Instagram was crazy. People were like insane in that community and there were so many people catfishing in that community.
Really?
But yeah, like there were a lot of like just like older like guys like catfishing and there were like a ton of like big scandals that would happen. But like talking people out of suicide was such a thing and it's like
I know,
crazy
it was
that it was
insane.
so normal. Like everyone was just like, "Oh yeah, like I can't like I'm busy right now. I have to like talk like
yeah.
this like person out."
Saying I'm busy, I have to talk to somebody with suicide is something I've heard so many times. Like
Yeah.
crazy. That is
It's
really
so
funny.
Like
bad.
I
what?
mean, that's not funny, but it's funny
No,
But
like
but
it's
it
how
is funny
yeah.
in a
how on
certain
the nose that
way.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember doing that at like I was in fourth grade on Stan Twitter for Ariana Grande. I like messaged like this girl who I think might have been non-existent on Kick because she lied about killing herself and then Ariana Grande tweeted hashtag rest in peace Allison.
What?
My microphone thing
Yeah.
out. I also wanted to ask you because we're the same age in being like just like 23 right now and being like in like I don't know, being like a person who really craves like connection with people and kind of like thrives off community. Have you like kind of seen that fall apart or change at all in like the age that we're in? Because I feel like it's kind of like a transitional period right now where like I don't know, for people who go to school, it's like, oh, people are graduating, but for just like in general in life, it's kind of like, oh, we are in the real world. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm curious if
I
like what
mean,
your experience with that is.
it's hard for me to relate to the average experience, I feel, because I haven't gone to school yet. I don't know
Mm,
if I plan on going to school. If like I'm also still, as much as I have learned to separate myself from it and like relying on the future of my band, you know, in my career, and like hopefully like we're gonna be touring next year, like all year or the year after that, and like that's what I hope for, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
mm,
I'm not sure if that's gonna work out, and I've had to face the harsh reality sometimes by, I've gotten like 5 jobs in the past 3 years, and I've had to work, for minimum wage,
mm,
because I don't have any money. Because it really doesn't pay well when you're like I was saying earlier, when you're touring so infrequently and releasing so infrequently. Also, because being an artist doesn't pay very well nowadays. We make like a
mm,
tenth of a penny from Spotify listens. Anyways,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It's a lot of my peers and people that are my age I see are going to school and have a plan in mind, and have kind of like a career path that is stable for them. Um, but I still kind of act like I'm just unemployed and just graduated from high school, which is weird. Like I feel like the weird note, I guess, but the big explosion of popularity and um artistic expression I felt when greer was getting popular has kind of impacted me so much that like I almost feel like some parts of me haven't grown a lot since then. And
mm,
like I still feel like as irresponsible as I did back then, like with my own money and my time. Um
mm,
I definitely feel like I've grown so much emotionally and mentally, and like I feel a lot stronger in that way, like in an awesome way. I'm super happy about that. But like I still feel like a kid at heart when it comes to having to realize I have to move out, and you know I also still live with my parents because I haven't made enough money to move out because it's so expensive here, right?
Mm-hmm.
mm.
But it's I still feel I'm pretty hard on myself about it. But yeah, I don't know.
But it's
It's
also
like a
so
weird thing to get
normal.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Like,
think so?
yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think
Especially for
everyone
people
has
our
that.
age. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I always like forget that I'm not like 17.
Yeah.
Like I have
Yeah.
to like remind
No,
myself of that.
like that's I feel like where the question comes from for me is being like, I don't know, like what has like changed for you? You know what I mean? Because it's like it's weird that like I don't know, you grow up and you think it's like a whole separate thing, but it's like
hmm
just like you just keep going.
I
But
mean, not a lot has changed for me in some ways. But the world around me has changed in a drastic way, I feel.
Hey,
Hmm.
sorry.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you listen to this at some point?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish my point and then I'll be on there. This is my producer Rob.
Hi.
hey, hey Rob.
I said, "Hey Rob." Okay, I'll be there in like 1 minute. Do you guys mind if I go listen to a song real
Yeah,
quick?
sure, you
Yeah.
got it.
What was I talking about? Oh, I feel like the world has changed around me in certain ways. Of course, with the quarantine, totally fucked me up. Like I feel like socially, I've never been the same.
Hmm.
A lot of my friends and stuff like that, like our relationships have gotten awkward or weird, and everyone's just kind of had this recovery period, I feel, from that. So that was a big part for me. But I don't know. I still live at home and sit on my ass and play video games and watch anime and stuff. Like to this day, like I still do all that stuff all the time. Hey Corbin,
Hi.
you want to say hi real quick?
Um.
Just say hi.
Okay. Hi.
It's Corbin.
Hey.
Hi.
Okay.
Did
What'd
he
you
go
get?
no?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a big point I wanted to bring up about how um aging is feeling weird and TikTok has made things so crazy, and
Hmm.
I'm paying attention to how hair is getting, which I don't need to. I've got a beautiful set of
No,
hair
you
here.
don't need
But
You don't.
for a while,
to.
dude, at the beginning of this year, I was going insane. And I know I was going insane because I was like, I'm getting thin. Like I'm balding. I
Oh.
bought fucking not finasteride, but the other one. I forget what it's
I don't
called. I
like
bought like drops, dude. I was doing drops for my hair,
You
and it
don't
did
need
not
to
help.
be doing that
don't.
at all.
I
But
know, I
I
know now. I know
I
now. But I feel like the pressure from social media, especially with like hair loss and like oh, let's get into looks mapping and mewing, guys,
oh my
and
god.
brain rot stuff. But that
Mewing
has
is
actually been like
crazy.
Mewing is
horrible.
insane.
Yeah, it's like
Wait,
Yeah.
so do you know
it's
how to
like
mew?
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Cool,
Wait,
cool.
how do you stick your tongue?
You're like, yeah,
Another good trick for
Yeah,
my
just like
ex-boyfriend. Sorry.
yeah.
true.
Also from Tumblr, right?
Well,
Okay.
it's crazy because like TikTok's the new
TikTok?
Tumblr, and it like does the
Yeah.
same thing
Yeah,
you, but
it
in a
is
different way.
almost
It's
worse
crazy.
because
It
you
is, yeah.
absorb so much information. Okay, do you guys want to go listen real
Yeah,
quick?
you're
Yeah,
good.
no,
You're
go
good.
for it.
Bug is on my keyboard. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You can't. Come
Oh,
on.
look at her eyes.
It's like we're just in the studio right
No,
now.
I know. I was thinking that.
Hey
It's kind of like
guys, reporting from the studio. What are we gonna do? We're gonna put a little podcast on the Greer album. Yeah, we're gonna put it on there when they're not looking. Final questions are, do you believe in karma?
I don't know. Maybe. I think I don't like initially, but like deep down I wish it was real. And
mm,
Okay.
I hope that good deeds get rewarded, and I hope that I don't know if I hope. Yeah, I do hope that bad deeds have consequences, you know.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Then our other one was can you give like a life lesson about boys and girls before we head out?
About boys and girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about him?
They're both. I mean, they should learn to get along better because boys hate girls like really badly.
True.
Right? That's what
Especially
I'm
online.
thinking.
It's really sad, especially because I really like girls and I've grown up with girls a lot more than boys sometimes. In fact, sometimes I wish I was a girl, and that is, I think, a very valuable thing. I feel, it's good to understand the other side to a really great extent, and to know exactly what a girl goes through, and uh, it's a lot more complicated than what a boy goes through. But obviously, they both function differently. I don't know. Why am I getting preachy about this? I like them. Uh,
Well,
treat,
to follow up on that,
they
what's
should
the worst
treat
thing
each
you've done
other
to a
the
woman?
same. It's the worst thing I've done to a woman. Broke up with her over text.
Mm,
Jeez, dude, why would you do that? What
that's
happened to
fucked.
what you just said?
I broke up with her over text and then immediately went to another girl only to get cheated on, like immediately.
So that's
It was,
karma.
yeah,
That's car.
exactly.
Oh, we
See,
just did all
that,
of our lessons in one.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay, there we
that
go.
was
And
good. That was good.
that was my
How
I
many
feel very
girlfriends have you had? Have you had boyfriends? They friends?
I haven't had a
They,
boyfriend, but I almost wanted a boyfriend. I realized I was just questioning for a week, and then I ceased to have those feelings. Really funny, actually.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna get into the story. If I am on the podcast a second time, I'll talk about my bisexual questioning episode.
Dude,
It was
I mean, I guess
we
really
we're gonna
need,
have to
funny.
have you on
yeah,
again just to
Yeah,
ask you
I
it's
about
like
guess you
you
that.
need
will.
that.
No, I've had God, I've had a lot of girlfriends. I've had a lot of dumpings and getting dumped. No, I've had a lot of dumpings. I'm a heartbreaker for sure. Watch out. Wow. No, I've been in a relationship for 4 years actually right now. I got dumped. It's really sad. Then Bella, the love of my life.
Mhm.
Awesome. So do you think all these were your great loves? Because some people have like
No.
a few great loves, but you had
But
like
then you have like in
eight
between
or
people.
nine or
I mean a lot of it, I don't know. I really I don't believe in repressing like feelings of love, and I think it's okay for it to be explored and to like meet people and see how it is. I mean, obviously it causes a lot of pain when things don't work out. And that's
Mhm.
been the biggest part of my pain and um regret growing up is like dumping people, and
Yeah.
like hurting and like getting dumped and like things not working out. So I don't know. It's a really big learning experience, but personally, I think it's really valuable, and I think
Yeah.
more people shouldn't be afraid to take that leap. And it's okay if heartbreak happens.
I agree.
It's it is healable. It's not impossible, and I think it only strengthens you. And a lot of the
Mhm.
reason a lot of boys nowadays and men, unfortunately, men who act like little boys,
Lesson for
are
the boys.
yeah are being so immature and so misogynist is because they didn't date when they were kids and they've never experienced a breakup, so their first breakup and now they hate every single woman in the world. I don't know, it
True.
seems like a
Yeah.
pattern for me, it's a thing. Boys don't
Yeah.
know how to talk to girls or how to treat people with respect. But I don't know, I feel like I've learned a lot, and I'm I'm much more in touch with my emotions and
Hmm.
other people's emotions and my feminine side and also my masculine side. I feel like at peace in a romantic situation. Like it's I don't know. I'm really thankful for uh I'm really thankful for all my exes. I don't know what Ariana Grande said. Thank you.
Thank you, next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yep.
No, but like like I feel like I found my person who like likes me for everything I do, and we don't argue and we don't have any problems, and like she's very
Mhm.
sensitive to me, which I'm a really sensitive person, so a lot of my problems in a relationship is people feeling insensitive, and so finding somebody who's sensitive and understanding is really awesome. It's sweet.
Thanks for sharing that. That was
Yeah.
sweet. It
That
was
was
That
a
like
was
lot
funny
of
and
nice.
then it got
information.
really sweet.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
gotta think about all the stuff I said about my exes after this and make sure like I'm okay with saying that. But I think I'm
We can
okay with
always
saying
cut it
that.
out if you want.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
But
sure I'll be okay with that.
also, I think what you were saying about like being, with misogyny, I think like it's easier to be sensitive to that when you grow up very like woman informed or like grow up with
Yeah,
a lot of women around you.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're right. It's just it's so weird because like it's not it's
It's
not
not
like
that hard.
it's really not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not hard at all. It's also not hard to like be respectful of boundaries and like you know
I was talking about
um
this the other day where I was like talking to a guy and I was just saying, because I was like saying a bunch of weird things that have happened. I'm like, it's just like not hard to be weird. Like, I just don't get it.
it fully isn't. Like it's a problem also for some reason.
Yeah.
Especially in Orange County in the indie rock music scene, there was a lot of bands, including stuff that happened with us, the
Yeah, I
ex-member.
remember that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into detail about that because it's I don't really. There was like almost a DA assigned. There wasn't, in fact. But
Whoa.
Whoa, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it wasn't cool. Um,
That's so
and it
like
what
in music scenes too.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a big power dynamic between fans and also the platform you get from feeling like a rock star, you know? And they don't even get that popular. It's like bands that just like feel like rock stars. I like I don't know. It's a weird thing because like I've met some of those people that used to do that and were totally publicly outed for that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
I'm very happy to see that these people seem like they have grown and hopefully
Yeah.
have grown
Yeah.
apart from this. And I still believe that there is hope for everyone to grow and move past this. I just think the lesson must be learned.
Yeah.
And if the lesson
Yeah.
is learned, that at the end of the day, that is awesome. I feel like there's a lot less of that happening, thankfully. Now that is a thing people talk about. So I'm really thankful for that. I hope to see less of that happening in the music scene. And I hope that those people can grow and move on with their lives. That's how I feel.
No, it's like I think really important to like I don't know. It's hard because it's like isolating someone when that happens feels like a very like the right thing to do, but I feel like giving people a chance to grow from things is really important because it just creates more good people in the world,
I mean, it
hopefully,
also
if
depends
that's
on the
like what
crime. It
happens.
also
Yeah.
depends on what the crime is. Because
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
it's bad,
does.
good, like
Yeah.
jail time. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it definitely
yeah.
depends like on the
Yeah.
thing
No,
that
like
happened.
literally like it's supposed to be. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
like which
how
is like
jail works.
crazy.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
coming
coming
on.
on.
Of
Really
course.
appreciate it.
No,
Sorry, it's just like the
thank you guys
conversation
for
just
having
goes
me.
like
I
This is
know.
like
yeah.
this is my first ever like solo interview of somebody
Aw.
asking me to be in a podcast. So I'm very flattered. I hope none of the other guys
Oh,
are jealous.
Yeah, no, it was so much fun talking
Thank you
to
so
you.
much. You guys were also awesome. I really loved your questions, and I
no,
feel
it
like
was
we
so
were
fun
both
Aw.
to
jealous.
chat. But we have one last thing. Having all of our guests try and get Josh on. Can you just say, hey, Josh, can you be on the podcast? We miss you.
Hey, Josh, we really miss you. Be on my favorite podcast.
That was
Really?
good.
That's helpful.
Yeah. That was
Okay.
that was good.
All right, I have to go now. They're
Thank
all
you
looking
so
at me
much
like
again.
really, really angrily.
You're good, yeah.
Sorry, tell them we say
Yeah,
sorry. You
Tell them
guys.
that we're
Okay,
sorry.
I'm
Thank you
sorry,
for
guys.
coming on.
Of course. Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.